Alright, this is for our virtual day. You'll find this file in Google Classroom. You want to download the file and then go to the Photopea, click on File and choose Open, and then your screen should look similar to mine. Whoops. The goal of this assignment is to go over in more detail what masks are used for. So in our previous assignment, we used masks to select objects and then hide the background. So I'll just show you that as an example. Let's say I wanted to focus on this basketball. I'm going to draw a quick selection circle here. It's not going to be perfect, but you'll get to see the result here. So let's say I have my object selected, and then you can add a mask which will hide everything that is not selected. And what I want you to focus on is this thumbnail that is created when you apply a mask, and you'll notice that it's black on white or white on black. And what I had selected and that is visible is white in the mask thumbnail preview here, and everything that is hidden is black. So this is very useful because I can hide or reveal things simply by changing the shade of black or white on the mask. We're going to switch to a different tool. This is the brush tool, and I'm going to change some of the settings here so that you can see the effect. Let me increase the size to about 100 pixels. I'm going to keep the hardness at 100%. And then I want to switch my foreground and background colors. Down here in your tools column towards the bottom, the default is black foreground on a white background. If I were to paint right now, nothing would happen because I'm painting black on black. So it's basically just doing nothing. So I want to switch those, and I can click on this little arrow button to reverse the order. So now it has a white foreground and a black background. So now I'm going to paint to show you what happens. I'm painting with white on a black mask, which is revealing what's hidden. So everything that is white is revealed, everything that's black is hidden from view. So you can use a brush tool to hide or reveal more or less from the mask. Pretty simple concept. Now the other thing that you can change would be the hardness of the brush. So sometimes you want the transition between the light and dark of the mask to be softer. So if I were to use a softer brush, you can see the transition between white and black is faded. So it's not as hard. That's the difference between a hard and a soft brush. So you can reduce the hardness to get kind of a faded effect in the transition. All right, so let's use this new information in a creative way. So I'm going to right-click my mask icon and then choose to delete the raster mask, which is going to undo hiding any of the pixels on the image. And what I'm going to do now is switch to a different kind of mask. It is still a raster mask, but this one here is in the form of an adjustment layer. That's what it would be called in Photoshop. These are all adjustment layers. And I'm going to use the hue saturation adjustment layer just as an example. So what I'd like you to do, I'm viewing the properties right now, and here towards the, like in between the layers panel and your project window, you can see the option for the properties. This is for the layer that you have selected here. So I can see the properties. This adjustment layer has several different settings, and we're just going to focus on the saturation for this project. So what I'm going to do is turn the saturation down completely. Saturation is the amount of color, and so I'm turning it all the way down. It's removing the color, basically making it a black and white image. And since my mask is entirely white, it's applying it to the entire image. So what I want to do now is I'm going to use what we've learned about masks to reveal the color for the basketball and then eventually for the Lakers jersey lettering. So let's go ahead and do what we had before. I'm going to use the circle selection tool. Draw a circle. Around the basketball here. I'm going to try to do it rather quickly. There's my selection. And I want to make sure that I have the mask selected. So now what I want to do is I want the selection to be black on the mask. That's going to hide it from the adjustment layer, which means instead of being black and white, it will be in color. So I want to fill the current selection with black. And we'll see what the result is. So fill is an edit function, so go to the edit tab at the top. We're going to choose fill. And we can't choose the foreground color because it's set to white. That's not going to do anything. So if you click on where it says foreground, you can choose black and then click OK. Now we've punched a hole in this adjustment layer. So right there where it's black, the desaturation, the black and white effect, is not being applied to that circle. So it is now color, the original. So if I can now get rid of my selection, I'm going to go to select and deselect. And I'm going to zoom in so I can focus on the fingers here, because if I just wanted the ball to be saturated, I would want to remove the fingers from that. So that means I need to be painting with white. Anything that is painted in white is black and white. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my brush tool. And then I'm going to adjust the size before I paint anything. I'm going to reduce the size to something that looks about the right size. It's a little bit small. So let's say around, try around 35 pixels. That's a little too big. So around 20 pixels probably. That's pretty good. Okay, now I'm ready to paint. And I'm going to do my hardness around 50%, just so it's not super aggressive, the transition between the white and the black. And now I can paint carefully. You may want to zoom in. Zoom in some more here. And since I'm painting white on a black portion of the mask, it is revealing the black and white effect for the fingers. So as a practice, I'm going to move on, but you could go ahead and try to fix the problems here with the fingers still being saturated. So I'm desaturating the fingers by adding them to the mask, so painting them white. I'm just doing it quickly for now, but you could do it better. And then there's also areas on the basketball that could be added or removed using black or white. So if I want more of the image to be in color, I'll be painting with black. So I'm going to go ahead and switch and go to my brush tool again and swap the colors. I'm going to add some of this, well, it'd be actually removing it, but removing the effect from the rest of the basketball to reveal the color, the original color. There you go. So I'm just, again, doing this really quickly. You could do a better job. So now we're going to try to select the rest of the jersey lettering. So before we do that, what you could do is right click and disable the raster mask. Hold on, why did that do that? Actually just hide altogether so you can see the original. And I'm going to use the magic wand to make a selection. That selected the entire image. You want to make sure that you're on the background image. It's going to make it a lot more sense. So do deselect. Now we're getting the pixel information from the background. So I'm going to click on the jersey lettering here and make sure you're in add or unite mode so you can click on multiple things here. Alright, so I have all of that selected and I want that to be in color on my mask. So I'm going to reveal my mask, select the mask icon, so that should be outlined in a dotted line. And what I want to do is fill this with black. So I have all of these letterings selected. So I'm going to go to Edit, Fill, make sure black is selected, and then click OK. So now you can see how quickly and easily we've added sort of a dramatic effect to this image. Let me zoom out a little bit. And let me go ahead and deselect my selection. So you'll see this effect a lot in images to make certain things stand out in color and then desaturate everything else or remove the color to black and white. This is how you would apply that effect. So I want you to practice this on another image of your choosing. Find an image that is in color, import it into a new project or open it. You're going to apply the hue saturation raster mask, which will give you this thing. And then you're going to fill or paint in with black what you want to reveal in color. So everything else will have applied the black and white effect, and then everywhere that you've painted black on your mask will reveal color in your project. Let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully this helps you get started with this, and we'll see you when we get back to school.